crayons. And he's like, no, people want to see it. And I was like, so I'm going to try.
It's real life. Thomas is going to have to jump on because when I was talking to Chi last night, he was asking her because he loves Chris. He definitely been following Chris for a long time.
Yeah, he knows his stuff.
And so he was asking the Chi last night, does she do Chris's method? And she's like, I don't know who Chris is. She was like, I think I passed him at Posh Fest, but I don't know who. I've never interacted with him. And I said, yeah, sweetie, she doesn't know who Chris is because Thomas is like Chris. He likes to get replenishables. That's one thing.
Yeah, and that's not, he's all about that, which is good. But I'm like, no, I like thrifting. I don't want, but it is less work, right? Because you just have one listing and you can, so I get that. But it would have to be something that I love. Like if someone's going to send me like Coach purses, like the same one, I would do that. But like,
definitely. Everybody doing it at one time. Hello, friends. I am talking to Sarah. You know who I am. No introduction needed. No introduction for Sarah. We're going to let her introduce herself. So as people jump on, say hello. Glow Girl Glow. That's Nikki. Hey, Daniela. And Wendy Span. Hello, friends. Thomas last night. He's like, how do you know so many people? Like, I just love to know people's names. Cynthia.
You're so good because I know Glow Girl Glow, but I don't know that I knew her name was Nikki.
Yeah,
like I know that one.
Her real name is Chandra, but Nikki is her middle name, so she goes by Nikki. Yes.
You know that, and you have so many followers too, and I feel like you know all of them by name. Like I can't even keep my kids' names straight.
Yes, so like
which one are you?
And so I'm going to be starting. When I was on with Thomas on Tuesday, I always end like, if anybody has any questions or any ideas, and someone was like, Leslie, they sent me a DM, you're missing your demographic. What about the over 50 chats? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like, what? So I reached out. We're going to, on the 25th, we're going to be doing an over 50 because I do a brown girl, I do a Spanish girl, I'm going to do some men, but over 50, So everyone, I am on with Sarah. She's Sarah Styles LLC, and she will tell you who she is and a little bit about what she's doing. Over in Seattle, right? Are you in Seattle, Colorado?
Yeah. See, how do you know, girl?
No, Seattle's Denali. So that's why it's like, no, not Seattle, Colorado.
Oh, yes, Colorado. And because you were supposed to come out this summer.
Yeah, well, that's because I'm really interested in the people that I talk about. So that's the thing. Yeah. And also, I'm a community builder. So when I know someone lives somewhere, I can direct another person there so that they can get the information and, the guidance and friendship that they need. So that it's really important to me to know those things. So
well, you're very good at it. I have a hard time so I went to school to be a teacher, and they said, and it works, but they said the number one thing that you do the first day of school is learn all of your kids' names. Mm-hmm. And this is for a different reason, but like when you say, hey, stop that, when you say, hey, George, stop that, they listen. If you say, hey, stop that, then like they don't.
Yeah, because it's everybody. She's like, who? She's not talking to me, so I'm gonna keep going, right?
Yeah, but for the opposite reason, when you say someone's name, like it makes you feel like you're connected. And when you know where I'm from, it makes me feel connected and loved, Leslie. So thank you. I am from Colorado, Denver, born and raised. I live in a suburb now, but Denver Metro. I do reselling. I did upcycle for about 20-ish years, off and on for a while. So taking things from the thrift store and then repurposing them, mostly women's clothes. And then recently, women's baby wearing nursing type stuff once I started having kids. But right now I just do purely reselling, a year and a half. I also have a degree in mathematics and do a dashboard as well. So I have 3 dashboards for the resellers right now where you can just put your data in and all the metrics populate. You don't have to know how to build spreadsheets, and they're in Google Sheets as well. So you don't have to have fancy software either. It's all free online. So that's
for everyone, you should be getting Sarah's dashboard. It's really important. If you're struggling, pay once and there you go, right? So if you're struggling or you've been asking these questions or you've been reaching out to the community, here's Sarah right now. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments because we want to get to know her better and we want to get some information out to you. Everyone's saying hello. It's a love fest. Jacob Fufu. Hello, friends. Christy Blocker from Philly. There's Heather. I know Christy because I know her personally. I'm from Philly. So
my story just cut in. Did you hear that? Oh, and then I just said her name and she cut in again. Did you hear it or is it just me?
Yeah, it's just you.
No, she's popping up on my screen. I have a Mac and like I touched the button wrong. So she like pops up like, how may I help you?
Oh, really?
Sorry.
It happens a lot to me. I'm sitting there and all of a sudden my iPad just starts getting wonky. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of scary, right?
Yeah.
When it listens to like,
or when you're having a conversation and then you get onto your Facebook and it's like brings up an ad about what you were just talking about.
That is really spooky. So like if I'm in thread up, all of a sudden it's on my feed. That's Facebook and Instagram. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that.
I actually don't hate it though, because it means that it's doing it for my stuff to other people, right? Like
that's a good
I've gotten Poshmark ads when I look on Facebook and stuff, and I'm like, that's my item. Like you recently saw me looking at it, it's my item. But like I don't mean that.
That's a good one. That was what I was doing earlier. My Macari feed came up and I was like, hey, I just listed that. That's pretty cool. So Sarah, you just moved. How's that?
Oh yes, we are settled in, and it was chaos. I mean, because we moved we got an offer on our house the day before the kids' school shut down for the pandemic. And so then it was trying to find a new house when like there was no open houses. And then we found something. It was actually our friend's house. So that worked out nice. But then trying to move when everything shut down and nobody wants to, like I have little kids. So moving and like no one would come help because like we're in the middle of a pandemic, right? And so we were moving our entire house. There's 5 of us. So me and my husband moved our entire house with a 3 and a 5-year-old. My 14-year-old is my stepson. So he was actually at his mom's house the weekend that we moved. And I was like, no, like a 14-year-old help, just, so it was rough, but we're here now. And it's nice. We have more space. I have a bigger studio.
Are you still in your same school district? So when we finally get back to schools, that's great.
Yeah, we actually moved. My kids go to a public school, but it's a charter public school. And so we actually moved, like we can walk to it now. So that's nice. Yeah.
That's probably exciting for them once we can actually get back in. I see a lot of people talking and a lot of schools sending out information. See, I'm worried about my daughter going off to college. I am so done. Like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to feel about that. It's a little sad for me.
Because she's your last one, right? Like the last one.
She's my last one, and she just said to me today, because she's something. She has a strong personality, and she said to me today, "Mom, you're going to miss me." I said, "I'm definitely going to miss you." Like, everything we go through. That's the love, sweetie. That's the love, and I totally understand that. I understand between Thomas and I, we have 7 girls, so. It's like, yes, 7.
But you have a boy. You have boys too.
I have a son. It's 10. So he has 2 sons, but they're older. When I married Thomas, they were adults. So in the midst of us meeting, he had 2 adult children. I had 1 adult children, my daughter. But then imagine it was teenagers all the way, because both of our girls are the same age. Well, his daughter is like 3 months older than my daughter. So they're both juniors. So they were, when we got married, they were in 4th grade. Our youngest 2, and then we moved to Delaware. They came to 5th grade, my stepdaughter, she lived with us for like her whole middle school, and then she went back home. But yeah, we had teenagers like for a long
and
time.
all back. That's how. So I'm one of 6, and it's a blended family. And they got married around 3rd or 4th grade, and my stepbrother is the same age as me. And so my mom had 6 children within like 8 years of each other. So we were all teenagers together. Like my poor mom. Like, now that I have kids,
yeah, it's a but the cool thing is that they learn how to interact with people. Like my son is really like the sweetest kid. He's a man now, he's 21, but he had all these girls. And when I married Thomas, he was like, "Mom, so you couldn't marry somebody who had some sons?" That's what he said to me. He's like, "Yeah, I'm good with it, but like you couldn't," I was like,
"Yeah, help me out."
His sons were adults, and they actually 2 of his sons live in Colorado. He has 2 sons and a stepson. So his son and stepson are in Denver. And so I was like, "Craig, I'm sorry, sweetie." But he has more respect for women, though, because we always has those talks. Like, think about like how your friends talk in the locker room. Imagine someone talking to your sisters. And so whatever you're doing with a female, think about the opposite. So just be respectful. So that was a really great tool for him. He knows he has patience, and it's a beautiful thing. So
and puts the toilet seat down.
Yeah, puts this. That's a must. Thomas does as well too. Like I mean, it only takes one time to fall. Like when we first got married, it was a thing because Thomas had been a bachelor for like 3 years. So I woke up one morning and that was the last time because, yeah.
Oh, like your husband was doing it? Like, no.
Yes, my son has never done it because I taught him from the beginning because he's always been around girls. He's the fourth of my family. So he had already had 2 sisters ahead of him, like no one wants to wake up in the middle of the night, sweetie. And like, you don't always turn on the bathroom light. It's like,
oh no, never. Because then it wakes you up. Yeah.
But that first week, I think I moved in with Thomas. I was like, oh my God.
That's funny. My husband, I'm trying to think because my husband lived, I mean, he was a bachelor because he has a boy and they lived together, but he had sisters and his mom like always. So I don't remember that being an issue. But my 3-year-old now, he's in the process of learning. And so in the middle of the night, I always have to like feel back there before I sit down because that's not what you want to do in the middle of the night is fall in the toilet.
Yeah, the children, I just love it. I'm going to miss all of that. Going through it is such I don't know, it goes so fast sometimes, or you're so stressed some days, or so much is going on, especially now. I can't even imagine with raising children and going homeschooling and dealing with the pandemic and everything. I can't even imagine. How has that been?
It's chaos. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
The homeschooling thing, my 14-year-old is remote we're out of school now, but he was remote learning. But he's autistic, he's ADS or ADHD. He has a whole thing. And he's on an IEP. And I'm like, I can't, even if I wanted to sit down and do this with him, I have a degree in mathematics and secondary education. So I'm licensed to teach, but not for special needs. I'm like, I don't know. Like I'll sit there and try and I'm like, I have no idea. And so we just had to put a lot back on the teachers, like his special ed teachers. And it was really hard because they were trying to figure out how to do it as well and get up and running. As bad as it sounds, the last couple of months of school was just kind of nothing. Honestly.
When everything started, I would talk to a lot of people and say, that's why I talk about like if you have a mission or if you know anything, if you're a parent who has a child that has either special needs or is on the spectrum, like reach out because there are parents who are struggling. Like my daughter, I've raised 2 children on IEP, and my daughter who's 22, she has Asperger's, so her is more emotional than anything else. She's always been in regular classrooms and stuff, but that's because I work hand in hand, straight up advocate with the teachers. So I can't even imagine being home. When my oldest daughter was growing up, I would cry at the kitchen table. Like I've been telling this story a lot lately. I would cry. She was in 5th grade, and because she could not understand. But she was my first child, and then by the time she was in 5th grade, I had 3 stair steps of children. So it's like I don't know what to do, And then finally, I got her IEP, and we learned some stuff. But it's been a struggle.
But even that, it's a constant struggle with an IEP because there's not. Definitely. There's not enough support. The teachers all really care, but they don't get enough support to be able to support to the extent that they need to. It's all just, And then I also have a 5 and 3-year-old.
And so that's how I was, with just like you said, I was the same way. So I had like, Craig's, Stacy, Stephanie, and Craig all in a row, they were 3 years difference. I'd gotten pregnant back to back. So that was like a challenge for me. But now I look at Tyra, and the reason I tell the story lately, she's 29. It took her 6 years to go get her associate's degree, but she did it. And that is like anyone else would have given up. She had a baby in between and never stopped. And so I'm so super proud of her accomplishments, and she's already starting in the fall for her bachelor's. So that's helpful
too. It's hard to see as he starts to get older because he's 14. Like when they're little, people seem to be a bit more empathetic about the situation, but now he looks like, and even myself, I find myself catching me, I'm like, you look like a grown man, but you don't always act that way. And so it's hard for me to not, and then starting like, you're like starting to look towards the future. Like what is his future going to bring when I know his capabilities? It's all very,
because he's an adult. I mean, like my uncle is raising, his son is autistic, and he's like, he can't live, he'll never be able to live alone. He can work and he goes to special programs and things like that. So it's going to be a challenge. And you always think he is a man, but still his mind isn't like, he's 21, but he's still functioning like at 12, probably now, where, so that's the challenge more than anything else. And I worry about Stephanie, and I just tell her siblings, just keep an eye on her. I mean, she's highly functioning. She'll be able to live by her own. She's gonna get her own apartment when we move and everything like that. But it's still, as a parent, like you think, what's going to happen when you're not here one day? It's a challenge. With that.
Yeah.
And you have to think ahead and start preparing. So
but you can't think too ahead, because then it gets to be too much.
I know. Believe me, don't even start me. I'm
and you have other kids
talking about it. Yeah. So it's like, I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. But I do say to them, just stay close and keep each other. Just watch out for each other, because you get married and you go in different directions, but that's your family. So the best you can. Like, I'm not asking anyone to take care. And that's why I say, for me, stick me in a home somewhere. I say, and not in I'm hoping that I'm healthy enough that if I had to live with my children, I wouldn't be a burden, because I think about their spouses more than anything else. I think kind of like on a realistic, because some families, it becomes hard. It messes up relationships. So I never want to come between my children and their significant other or whatever. So but
you have so many. One of them will take you in. Like, that's why you have so many.
My son will probably be the ones. The girls, I love them, but he's the one that's always got, like, I got you, mom. Like, he'll send me money. I'll look in my Chime. We have Chime account, and I look down and go, oh, my son sent me some money. He's in South Korea, but he sent his money. That kind of stuff. So he'll probably be the one. But I still just kind of think that I don't want to be anybody's burden. I want to live as much as I can comfortably.
Oh, whatever. That is your right. They were your burden for 18 years, and that is like, no.
Yeah. So hopefully they'll do it. If I put
one of them will. If not, you can come. We have an extra bedroom.
Oh, so thank you so much. I can't wait till I can travel, because I want to see everybody now. Reseller, hello. Hey everyone, if you have any questions for Sarah and I, we're just talking. As you see, we're talking about life here. So Sarah, how did you get, I'm going on the whole thing. I have a personal question for you.
Oh.
What made you decide to go pink, and how long have you been pink?
Oh, the hair. Yeah, so I have a hat on. This is my summer. I'll show you guys my hat hair. It is pink for those that don't follow me. When did I go pink? A couple of years ago. And honestly, so I used to be a hairdresser. I actually am still licensed. So I've had every color hair, every haircut, everything. And when I started reselling about 1.5 years ago, I had the pink mohawk. So it's been about 2 years now. And it was just like random. I think I don't know. It was random. I don't know what made me do it, but it's been about 2 years now, and I'm kind of actually over it. But it's almost like a marketing thing now, because like you recognize like on my Instagram and on like you the pink
right.
Yeah, so I am kind of over it. I was actually telling my husband, I was like, I might do something else, like maybe once I get a little bit. I know, because it's like my thing.
Slowly transition us there, because it's like when your thumbnails pop up, we know that it's you, and you're posing, and it's just, but just like you said, it's like marketing. So whatever. I mean,
I'll have a pink mohawk until I'm 80.
It's your hair, but that is like your signature. It's that thing. Like, unfortunately, mine is, I can't help it. You got a little person talking to you.
I didn't.
This is real life. Hey, friend, says Leslie, when you get old, we'll be roomies. There you go, Wendy. I like that idea. We won't be going to a nursing home. I am not trying, unless they have like some serious party and things like that. That's the only way I'm going to go, and I can have my own key and go in and out. My friend Wendy Spann said that we can be roomies. We will not go into a nursing home today. It's like, that's right.
I think we'll probably fight over my parents. But like my parents, and it will be hard for us because my parents are divorced, so we have 2 sets, and then my husband's parents are divorced, and like we only have so much room in our house. So I don't know who. I bet my brother will take my oldest.
Yeah.
So like the oldest son, I would probably not take.
Well, both of my people,
they have the most room, and
it would see. That's the thing about also being like the oldest. Both of my parents, it was like, it's you, and I'm like, okay. So like when the year that Thomas's parents, they both died within 6 months of each other, and I was calling my parents like, look, what are we doing? What do you want me to do? I just need to have a plan, because my parents have never been married, and so my father has my stepmother, my mother has my stepfather, and there's children on both sides. So I'm like, look, I'm kind of like the oldest. I have an older brother, but he's been incarcerated and different things for years. So not the most responsible.
Not going to take. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's me. So I'm like, write it down, because I'm not fighting with kids. I'm not fighting with, we turn into little kids. So we just want to make sure, because I'll definitely go live in my mother's house. She's got the most beautiful house in North Carolina. I like, Thomas is like, we can't get a house like hers. Like I'm like, when we go down North Carolina, can we possibly, And he was like,
my husband's family used to live, his mom and stepdad used to live in North Carolina. And the amount because I'm in Denver, it's expensive here. So the amount that you can get in North Carolina compared to what you can get here, or even his sister lives in Texas. And she's like, yeah, we just, we went down for her wedding, and they were at their uncle's house. And it was like 2 houses, like a guest house and a house, and like this big, like ginormous pool with like fountains. And he's like, yeah, it's like 200,000. And I was like,
exactly.
$1.5 million house.
That's something. That's why we're moving down. Because that's like here in Delaware, I'll see a nice house and I go, oh, because we've been renters, just because I don't want to make that commitment. I'm like, this is Delaware. They want like 300 and something. What? And it's this small. Like, that's not happening. So I love this little townhouse, and hopefully I can find something. But my mother worked up to that, because when I was growing up, we were like on welfare and stuff. So to see how she lives now compared to like how we struggle is beautiful, And she's like, I'm leaving you the house. I'm like, I don't want to talk about that. Whatever. So Daniela says she's that person too. We will have a serious coffee together. So, how did you start your series with Chris? You guys are doing YouTube once a week. Talk about that. Chris, I love Chris. So.
Yeah, well, that's really good knowledge. He can be a bit intense sometimes. I'm learning as I am talking to him, but I think it's good because it's you have those intense conversations that I can't have with other people. Like,
right.
As resellers, we're very isolated, right? And I talked to my husband, but he doesn't get, like, he's not a reseller.
Yeah.
And so he can't, he just basically listens. So it is good to have those intense conversations that like kind of pushes you outside of your comfort zone. We do them live though. So sometimes I'm like, it's a little much live. But it always like it's pushing me further to get to where I want to go and think about things I hadn't thought about. I just reached out. He had mentioned on a couple of I was watching some of his stuff, and he mentioned 1 or 2 times like he was looking to do like a mentorship series, because he does a bunch of like morning calls and all kinds of stuff to help people. And he said he was looking to mentor someone. So I sent him an email, and he was like, let's do it. And I was like, okay. I for sure thought like there's no way, but you try. And so now, once a week we're on my channel. We were doing both, but we're both really busy. And so right now we're just doing my channel every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m.
Nice. I think I have to set reminder. I don't know why I don't have a reminder set, because then I'll see your feedback. I am going to check.
Do you not have lives? I feel like I never catch any of your lives because they're always the same time. Like I get a reminder that, and I'm like, well, that's cool, but like I'm going live too.
I do the same thing, because like when yours pops up like in Instagram, I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm gonna have to. That's why I have to like set a reminder. Like I'll be talking to you. I maybe do have a reminder, because I'll be talking to someone and then it'll come up that you're live. So I do have reminders set. Yeah,
like, but I think it's usually during, and I know that because mine pop up for you.
And I was doing it a little bit too much, so I decided to stick with like Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Tuesday is Thomas and I, and then Wednesday is like I'll either do a question and answer, or if I do get a guest who doesn't fit within my Thursday, right?
Yeah.
And so Thursday, I'm trying to do like series, like the Brown Girl Chat or whatever, or whoever I can fit in, like Sarah, especially if we have time challenges, I will put some. So I'm only doing those days. So Monday I'll go, phew, I have nothing on Monday, and then tomorrow like I don't have anything tomorrow, that kind of thing. But then I'll come to yours on Monday and then sit and watch. So that works out now, because it was just too much going on, and it can overwhelm you if you have too many things. Like I have 3 chats coming up. Like I have a Zoom chat on Saturday, and then I have a Zoom chat on Monday, and I'm doing a cultural conversation June 29th where we're talking about culture and racism and love and stuff like that. So I'm looking for.
Where's on your chat?
On Zoom. Yeah. So what's going to happen is I told people put a post on Instagram and I'll put it in my stories and I'm going to keep running it if anyone's interested because I want people from all backgrounds. Awesome. So send me a DM as a reminder because I'm sending out
right now. I'm going to forget.
And you can have, and I tell people that space, you can have your husband there too. It's not reseller, it's people related. So we're not even talking like when people come on, I'm going to be like, put your name in and that's it. We don't want to hear about anybody's closet or whatever. We want to have a cultural conversation so that we can figure out like how as a community that we can talk to each other and start the conversation. So it's going to be literally 20 people.
Oh yes, I love it.
So
okay, I just sent you a DM.
Awesome.
Because otherwise I would forget.
I'll send you the Eventbrite link and then you can RSVP. And so it's going to be taped and released as a YouTube video. So it's going to be like almost, I call it a community. So culture conversation.
Yeah.
Calling it.
Yeah, I love it. There's a lot going on right now with that. And it's hard to know. The conversations need to happen. They're going to be uncomfortable and things are going to come up, but we're not going to grow if we don't.
And for me, like, I don't mind talking about this stuff because, like, when I was growing up, I was born in 1969, but my mother made sure we were immersed in diverse communities. And I did the same thing for my children. So they don't blink an eye when they see two mommies and two daddies. They don't see anyone Asian or whatever. My daughter was going to school and all her friends came home with her were Chinese descent. So to me, it's just people. And so the things that are going on now is really powerful in terms of everyone else. For me, it's not a movement. This is my lifestyle. This is me every day. You know, this is me for 29 years having conversations with my children, just how to be in America. So that's why, like, when people, everyone has a different stance on how they handle it. But for me, I'm like, it's business as usual. I'm not stopping what I'm doing. I'm not pausing. I'm not blacking out, and not being disrespectful, but like, I stopped making money when I did that. You know, nothing, because this is every day for me. So the color of my skin doesn't change. You know, it's just now that I love that the conversations are happening, and I hope some things happen. And my ministry and my movement has been teaching my children how to be. And I've always given back. I'm giving back some shirt money for some shirts I'm making NAACP, but I've given back to
I saw that.
Autism Delaware. I've been doing that for years. Hydrocephalus Association, Feeding America. I always give back.
I was actually thinking about that today. What a great community that we're in. It is. I think there's always room for growth right now. There's always room for us to learn and grow from each other. But the community that we're in is a very diverse community. And I feel like it's pretty inclusive of all different types and walks of life and everything. And it seems to be, at least the people that I've come across, seem to be very big into giving back. Like you are giving back, like Girly Girl Style.
Definitely. Yeah, I just started the Black Resellers. Yes, it's really, I think it's a beautiful thing. I really do. I think that if you're in a community, you're in a community, you know. Sometimes I do hear things where eventually some things get revealed that people aren't who they say they are, you know. And I'm like, there's nothing I can do about that. I meet people where I'm at, not where they are. And so it's up to me to figure out how I'm going to allow them into my space. And for the most part, I'm so positive that I don't see drama. You know what I'm saying?
For the most part, you are always
unless I have to really, really be down. Like, Thomas will tell you, and it's a lot of people in the chat who have met me personally. So I have to really, really be down in order to, or like have a situation that is causing me to, like my daughter's school just said that, they gave her the wrong scholarship. And so they're taking money back. And I was like, oh no, we're not doing that. Hold on, you haven't met me, have you? Like, so that's a whole nother, that's when I get into mama bear mode and I'm like, oh no.
Oh yeah, it comes to my children.
Yeah. And I'm like, financial aid, that's okay. I'm going all the way from the president to whoever. I'm sending emails to everybody. You can't say it was a mistake. It was our mistake. So since it was your mistake,
then you fix it.
And I told Thomas, I never did this, but that's when I'm going to have to use my hashtag Black Lives Matter. I was like, see, I don't usually go there, but wait, we need that money. Stop playing.
See, now I was raised, so we were raised in Denver. My dad's a police officer. So I find it hard for me to walk that line because I lived with fearing for my dad taking care of people. Right. And not to say that there's not police officers out there that take advantage of the power, but I'm kind of in the middle. But we grew up in Denver metro area. We had to go to Denver public school. So it was very, it was more, we have more like Latinos here, where I grew up, but it was like, I wasn't, but I feel like there's still room to grow. Like
oh, sure.
I mean, I've dated all kinds of different cultures and friends with all, but I still feel like now that I'm reading more things, I'm like, oh, like, I didn't realize, I don't intentionally do that, but now like, boom, someone told me that. And I'm like, okay, better, do better. Right. And I think there's always room to grow.
Yeah. And I think I love conversation. I think we live our life, and you just be the best person you can be. If you know you're being accountable, because it doesn't need to go as far as you changing the way that you live. If you know that you are immersed in a diverse community and you're just being yourself, that's just continue to be yourself. It doesn't have to be this dramatic change. And because Wendy had started a conversation which really interested me, and she was talking to her friends. She had on Facebook, she had put something out. Yeah, I'm talking about you, Wendy. And she just started the conversation. Some people weren't really receptive, but she at least put it out there. But just be yourself. You don't have to really, and handle it however you want to handle it. Like with me, I'm not going to protest, one, because COVID is still out there. So that's a big thing. But I think if, give back and talk to your children and talk to your friends and continue to just build the same friendships as you're building. If you say you're a part of a community, just be a part of that community. And that's really what it is, because you can't change the whole world if you start with your little small group and just continue to be. I think that's the thing. If you're trying to go beyond what you can handle, then that's where it becomes hard. So if you just
and I shared, I don't remember who it was, but I had shared a post about I don't remember the exact terms. My Siri keeps going off. I need to make sure to turn that Siri off for the next live. I keep hitting the button. About like activist burnout. And I think that's what happens. You have to do, like, you can make small changes. And if we all make small changes, then eventually changes will happen. And especially if you have small, like, kids, like, that's where the next generation is coming from. And it's them to be nice and kind to everybody. Yeah. You don't have to be and I was talking to my husband about like going to I don't think the Pride Parade is going to be this year. That's going on and protests and stuff. I was like, I feel like we need to do something. But then also I'm like, I have little kids. Like, I don't take them to parades that they want to go to, or like to these big shows that they want to go to, because I'm afraid I'm going to, like, my 3-year-old's going to jet. So maybe in a couple years. Like, that's not where we're at right now.
Yeah, I'm not into big parades. Like, that's the other thing I see. Like, I see, you saw how LA was swarming. It was too much going on, and that gives me fear anyway. Like, I don't like crowds like that. So I'm like, I don't mind if it's like 20 people. Like, my neighborhood has been having them, but I didn't know they were. Like, my children were here last week, and they were like, Mom, we couldn't even get through. That I would attend it, because it's only a small group. It's not big. It's not, but like all of that, like Philly, I'm from Philly. The art museum, it was crazy. I would be freaking out. I never went to a single parade. I've been afraid of it. I don't like that. I don't like a lot of people around me, So I really just think that if we just do what we can. I used to work as a baker. I used to work in in Center City. So it was Pride all around me. It was the neighborhood is what we called it. So the parade would pass right by my job, and then people would come in and get their desserts and stuff like that. So it was like really cool. I'm like, there you go. That's me right there. When the Phillies won, there you go. When the Eagles won, everybody walking by, I was like front and center. I had all those great.
That's how, in my early 20s, I lived in downtown Denver, and I was a hairdresser. So it was like, all of the Toby stuff and lots of game, as a hairdresser and living in like the cool places. And now I'm like, no, I live in the suburbs for a reason. I don't want those crowds anymore. I want to have to go with.
Yeah, it is. I miss the city, but I go back and I visit my father's still there, and a lot of family. I do passion sips because there's a lot of people here who are in Philly, and then I come back home to my suburb, and that's one of the other things. Is like we've worked to get to the suburbs, so like I don't know what's going on in the city, only what I see. Like my stepdaughter lives there because she went to school. She's still in school. She had to come home for a week because there was a lot going on. It was a lot of violence and things. Yeah. So she came back to Delaware, she and her boyfriend. But I'm like, see, we're right here. When I go to the store, it's calm, and it's, because we work for that, and it's whatever. I couldn't imagine being in the city right now with my children. Christy, what is it like in the city? Christy lives in my old neighborhood. So I can't even like imagine. I think about my father and my stepmother, like kind of like right there, like, so So let's talk about, like, are you still selling vintage clothes? Because I love seeing you model. Are you selling vintage clothes on
Oh,
Etsy?
yeah, I do. I sold something on Depop. You saw on Depop, right? I
I
sold,
just started putting more stuff back on Depop.
yeah, I put stuff on there and then didn't sell anything and forgot I had stuff on there.
Oh.
And then this is like my first thing that sold on Depop overnight, like 3 o'clock in the morning, also sold on eBay overnight. And so I checked to see, I was like, maybe this is the same person, right? Like
Right.
22. And one was in California, one was in New York. So I actually ended up having to cancel it because I was like, well, I don't want to cancel eBay. Like, you don't do cancellations on eBay, right? So that was my first one. Talking about vintage, I have most of my vintage on Depop. I also have it on Etsy. It's been hard. I like vintage. I actually just got, where's the box? Oh, I thought I had it. I just got a reseller vintage box that I'm going to do.
Nice. I saw that. It was like a reseller mystery box, right? That was one.
Yeah, it was kind of mystery. I did like a virtual call with a reseller, and I kind of looked at what she had.
Nice.
Out, but I didn't, like, I haven't actually seen it or touched it. So I'll do an unboxing of that. I like vintage. My data, vintage is hard because you have to find the exact buyer. So sometimes it can say, and the sizing is kind of weird. I'm trying to figure out, looking at my data and see what is really selling. I have a hard time with something that I love it. So I'm like, that is so cute, I'm going to buy it. But I have to figure out, like, I need to get better at it because I think I'm having a lot more sit than I would like.
Well, I just started my vintage journey. And so I did all my videos. I have all this stuff. I took a few pictures. I have a lot of drafts in Etsy, but when a lot of the things started happening, not COVID, because I kind of dealt with that, that didn't affect a whole lot in terms of my business. But when everything started going on in the last couple of weeks, I kind of shifted like my focus, because my creative outlet has always been, when I sell those items, those are the items where I donate money. When I sold on Etsy for 8 years, that I donated 10 to 20% to these organizations for my daughter, hydrocephalus and autism. And so I said, you know what, let me figure out what I can do, because I'm not going to protest. I don't really want to get out there. I know what I can do, and I know how much I can give and what I'm willing to give. And so I started really with the tie-dye and doing that, setting some things on my website.
Flowers and stuff.
Yes. And so I decided, you know what, let's take that and just I've been focusing on my art for the last 3 weeks, like just really focus on it. Listing some things here on Mercari and Poshmark, but really focusing on the tie-dye and everything. So that my mind creating helps my stress. It helps me just stay zen and just relaxes my spirit. And so that's why I do it. So people are like, oh, wow, you're so busy. But what I try to tell people is that you can let the world overwhelm you if you want, right? You still have to make money every single day. So I just flip it around back to where I come from, which is creative. And now I take my creative energy, make some stuff, sell some stuff. I keep some of the money and I give money away. But then a lot of the money that I keep goes back in to get the product so that I can redo. And just find something that gives me peace. So it may seem like I'm doing a lot, but that is how I calm my mind and give back.
That's kind of how I am with my work as well, because we have a lot going on. People are like, oh my God, you have 3 kids and you're doing so much. And when do you have time for yourself? And I'm like, my work is actually my time. While it's work, it's not like when I was working in corporate America and I was working for somebody else. I actually really enjoy learning how to make a YouTube video, or learning how, like right now I'm working on eBay and getting my eBay sales up, and like, what am I learning all those processes and doing things, and having time to sit down without a 3-year-old sitting on my lap and touching me. I mean, that is essentially my time, and it actually helps de-stress me. It also brings on other stresses because you're running a business, right? But if I don't get that time, and it's hard now because we don't have childcare, we don't have, so trying to figure out how to get it, but I have to have it. Even just this chat with you, I didn't work. Things are opening back up right now. So we're doing more things, and my kids absolutely need it. But now, like, I'm getting busier and not having, I didn't work as much today as I necessarily wanted to, because we went to the park and we did something else. I feel like the day flew by.
And that's good though. Yeah, that's good because that's how I'm feeling. Like actually my weather went from just chilly to now it's so humid. So I'll step outside and go, whoa, it's a little warm. But I have to get walking again. And those are the things when you're talking about your children in the park and everything, I miss that so much. I really do, because I'm just really starting to let like my granddaughter and my daughter kind of come into the space again, a little bit more. Because I was telling people to stay away. There are a lot of people who were still seeing their family. I wasn't, I was trying to stay because I didn't want anything to happen. I was sick for a little bit, and then Thomas is a little bit older, but I think self-distancing is really important. And that's what I was trying to get my children to understand, that I love you. Let's FaceTime. But if I'm not here, then it doesn't make it, you know what I'm saying? So we had like a little graduation ceremony for my daughter. It was like a little picnic, but I made sure we stayed outside and everything like that. And we do the hand sanitizer and all that. And my granddaughter's really good. She's used to her little mask and stuff like that. So now they showed up the other day, and I'm like, okay, you can come in, that kind of thing. Cause they're like, I'm like, yes, but we still want to be careful regardless of what else is going on.
Yeah, it's hard to know because I feel like this is almost harder than when it first started, because it was like stay home. Like that was your only job, stay home. And now it's like, well, you can venture out. But like one article says this and one newspaper says this, and then you have different high risk. And so I feel like it's even harder now. And then you don't know what other people are doing.
Exactly. It's strange for me. My daughter's working, and so I take her to work. I've literally been in the house for a month. And Thomas and I, she works 3 to 11 shift. She's a certified CNA, 17 years old. So she wanted this job, and I was like, oh man, I can't say no. She wants to work, right? So she works in a senior center and big facility. So I was really concerned, but they test almost every day for fever and stuff. She just did a COVID test last night. But 3 to 11. So I drop off and Thomas picks up because I don't see really well at night. So I took her the first time, and I was really afraid because I'd been in the house for a month. So it was like being a zombie trying to figure out how to go out into the world.
My kids were like that. My 3-year-old can't verbalize it as much, and my 14-year-old, because he's autistic, doesn't verbalize it so much. But I noticed it so quick with my daughter. The first time, we hadn't been out in like a while for her, because we still aren't taking them to stores and stuff. They don't get it, like they touch things. But the first time we went out, I didn't think about it, but she was like, it looks the same. I was like, well, what do you mean? And she was like, well, like, it's not scary. And I was like, oh, like she's thinking, like in her 5-year-old brain, like there's some big scary monster that we can't go out. She's like, it looks the same, Mom. Like there's a car driving by, like it all looks the same. And I was like, okay, we need to like talk about this more. Yeah. So you understand exactly what it is and not. And she was getting really bad anxiety about the whole situation.
And that's another reason why I wanted to come out. I didn't want to stay in because I didn't want to get anxiety. My father has he experienced something tragic as a child, and then it just resurfaced like 7 years ago. So he has paranoid, like anxiety, and he hasn't left his house in like 5 years. So I don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's perfectly normal and stuff. He's a black belt. I mean, this big old guy who I loved growing up is like in the house because of something that happened. He saw somebody get killed, and that person got released from jail, the murderer. And so that same week, he hasn't left. And I'm like, wow, that is like so scary. He watches my videos, so he's probably like, what? But yeah, it's like really hard. So I don't want to be in that space, you know. But I was also sick. My doctor thinks that I did have COVID, but I handled it. Like, I was sick for 3 weeks, like really bad. Like that was when I would probably just post something or saying or whatever. And I hadn't revealed it that much, but I would call them up. Like I woke up with a fever. One day I woke up, I had like spit like a little blood. And so I was on the phone. My doctor was calling me every single day. And she sent me, I said, Thomas, to the pharmacy to get my prescriptions and everything. And she was just telling me everything to do. And she was like, if your fever goes to here, you need to go to the hospital. But it never, like it would get to like 100, but they wanted 103 because they were like, you're actually safer at home than if you go out. And so it's hard, right? Because you don't know if you have you don't know if you have a flu or whatever. These days, anything could be COVID. And so so I was sick. And so when I'd gone to the Aldi, and then 3 days later, I was sick as a dog. And so that kind of has been like I don't want to go into too many big stores, but I do go into like Rite Aid. But it was so I had been home, so I get there and it's like the 6 feet little things. It's the
Yeah,
plexiglass. I grew up with plexiglass. All the corner stores had plexiglass in the Chinese food stores, but it was really different. You have to wear a mask every day. And I don't want to travel. I tell people I don't want to pay money that I have to wear a mask somewhere. You know,
yeah.
I don't know how you feel about that.
No, I mean, traveling is, my in-laws were supposed to come out in July, and I don't know. I think my husband was actually talking to him when he jumped on this call, but I'm not sure if they're going to come here or not. The traveling makes me nervous because there's so many people from all different walks of life, and you can't, like, people aren't doing the 6 feet. And then you're saying, from everything that I've read, it's in the same air for long periods of time. And hello, like 4.5 hours on a flight, like you're in the same space. Even if you're apart, like you're sharing the same air.
Yeah, and those masks are I said to my daughter, because that's what they wear, you know, and I'm like, gosh, I really give it to the doctors and the nurses. Because like you put that mask on, like that mask that I use for the bins is a heavy cotton. And so the ones they're wearing, like the surgical, at least you can breathe a little bit more. But my glasses are fogging up, my head is sweating. And I'm like, wow, I can't just, that's our everyday kind of like now, you know? So I'd rather just be safe. We've missed so many opportunities because we're supposed to be traveling down North Carolina. We're supposed to be moving in like September, but we haven't been able to look. We were supposed to go in March, April. We canceled everything. So we're going to brave it in the next few weeks just to kind of go and like scope out a couple of areas. We've been, because my mother lives there, my sister-in-law, and mother-in-law. But it's just everything's changed, you know? What can you do?
You'll find it. There is a question in the comment that someone had for me I wanted to touch on, if that's okay.
Is it Cynthia?
Yeah.
Is it the one?
I just saw my name. Yeah.
Is it this one right here?
Yeah, I think so. What percent Sarah thinks her data is helping her business? How much in profit she has been saw it before to now? I would absolutely say, if you guys follow me and watch my channel, it is the reason that I'm as successful as I am. So the first 6 months that I did it, I was kind of just like figuring out, I was only on Poshmark and I'm trying to figure out what was selling and what was working. And the second that I started looking at my data and I built the dashboard and started doing it, I mean, I've like doubled, tripled my profits because I'm then doing things that work for me and things that work for my business and making decisions based off of that. And even right now, like I'm trying to get my eBay up and going and I'm looking at what is selling on eBay, what is working on eBay, what is not like gut feelings, if that makes sense. It is, and not to say that you can't do it without data, but I'm comfortable in numbers. I know what the numbers mean. And it is, I've only been doing it for 1.5 years. I don't know. I'm not a pro. People will ask me questions like, what's this brand? I'm like, I have no idea. Like, I don't know any brands. I don't know, but I have been successful because what I do know, I am making it work for me as I grow and learn.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's really good to follow up on. Even if you don't have a dashboard, you should know, you should be looking at numbers somewhere. If you sell on Poshmark, they do have the, the inventory report.
Yeah,
there's something for you. If you don't, if you're not into your numbers and tracking them, there should be a way. You should be tracking that because you don't want to put all this money out and not get a return for your money. You want to make sure you're selling as many quality items as you can. And I've changed the whole structure of my business. So I can tell you, I made more money than I have in the last year because I've really been focused. The pandemic, really forced me. We're going to go get to that, Sarah. I know working with Chris, I think you had a goal of $1,000. Is it a week or a month?
It's $1,000 net a week.
Okay.
In 20 hours or less. Because I do YouTube and the dashboard, and then also, I have children. So I was like, and that's what I told him. I was like, I am busy. I do not spend more than 20 hours reselling, and that includes shipping, sourcing, everything. I don't want to spend, I would ideally like to spend less than that. And so that's where the goal came from, is under 20 hours, $1,000 net a week.
I like that. That particular goal is really good for people who work outside the home. Mm-hmm. So if you know you cannot put all this focus into your business, I think that is perfect. So like the videos that you and Chris are doing, do you provide a lot of that information? So should people be going to Sarah Styles' YouTube channel? Everyone should be going to Sarah's YouTube channel and catching up on all the information. If you're just getting to know Sarah, she's letting you know what she does. But if you already know Chris from Daily Refinement, you should have an idea of what he's talking about. I mean, he literally holds your attention. He's teaching you so much. Just like Sarah said, he is intense, but I love that I'm married to an intense man. So when I see Chris, I love the fact that when he smiles, I go in my head like he actually smiled. Like when I was like, oh, you actually smiled.
That is so funny you said that, because a couple weeks ago, I got off a call with him and I told my husband, I was like, did you see that? I'm pretty sure I got a smile out of him.
Yeah, it's so, because we were at Podge Fest and I was talking to somebody. Next thing I know, I felt a tap on my shoulder and it was him. I'm like, hey, Chris. And we went in for the hug and stuff, but he's still like, but so when you're talking, it is like he's intense, but he's listening to you, but that's his space. But then when you see him with his wife, he's different because he bought her. But then when you see his stories, they're cooking and everything, and you're like, okay, he's actually a real person. But I'm married to a guy that's just like that. It seems like he's so intense all the time. So when he laughs or he smiles, I'm like, Thomas, you actually have teeth.
Well, and what I like I love Chris's channel. Definitely follow his channel. What I like about having him on my channel is because he doesn't have kids and he does it full time. Like this is his balls. Like, and it's great because you can learn a lot of things from him, but also like a lot of the stuff that he does, I'm not trying to manage 12 people. Like, and that's what he does to get to where he wants to go. But he's been great in helping, giving those tasks and it down for people who like, I'm only 20 hours a week, selling activities, and other people in scaling it down, where I think sometimes in his videos, at least for me, they got overwhelming sometimes. Because I was like, well, that's cool, but like, I'm not going to have 7 employees. Like, right. I'm not shipping out 60 items. I mean, he gets like 600 items a day. Like, I'm sorry. That's how my life.
He's preparing for future because he might slow down some, and also one thing, because I was saying, like, I didn't know who Chris was until he joined Poshmark, and that's when he became Daily Refinement. He had this little bow tie and he was doing, I said to Thomas, look at this guy. Yes, I think you have to go like all the way back. He was doing these videos and I said, Thomas, look at this guy. He's selling, and he said, Leslie, that's 10K on the Bay guy. And I was like, oh my God. I was already watching him. But then I was like, look at him though. And he was, and I didn't put, it was like so cute. So that's how I got
I'm gonna have to go find that. I cannot see him.
She changed it to Daily Refinement. So I was like, oh, I'm all excited and everything, because Thomas used to have me watching his videos, like, check out this guy. And so he still loved Chris's videos. And then I'll come home and say, oh yeah, guess who I met? Oh, I met Chris, And I said, yeah, I'm going to be Chris is going to interview me. He was like, whatever.
Well, and what I like about, so I've only been reselling a year and a half, right? So I've only known him as Daily Refinement. And really only recently. I'm on YouTube, but I don't follow a lot of YouTube people because it's time consuming, right? But I caught one of his videos and I was like, okay, I can listen to this. He speaks numbers, right? Like I can follow that. But with the Daily Refinement, what I like too, and he constantly reminds me of this on our calls, you change something little every day, where I'm like, I want to be like making $1 million tomorrow. Like, Sarah, like, change 1% today. And if you do that every single day, then in a year, and I'm like, okay. So he is still, it's principles that you can take no matter where you are. But it is intense sometimes.
Yeah, that's what I like. When he gave me like the greatest compliment when we did the videos for his series, right? And he was like, oh my gosh, I'm taking notes. I'm sitting in my head like, he's like, I just did 3 pages of notes. I'm like, he took notes from me. Wow. That's awesome.
But I like that because he does, and he says this all the time, like he knows what he knows, but he's also open to learning. And I think we talked about that in my live today. He gives me like homework assignments. My homework for the week is find people that I want to kind of be like, to mimic after and learn from them, because you have to continue to grow and learn. And he absolutely does it on his channel and speaks to it as well, and is always taking notes and writing things down. And I've started doing it, and it's helping me decompress too, because I have so much going on in my head all the time. Yeah.
And I tell people, I said, that's what I talk about that all the time. Like, you have to figure out what works for you. Like, in every aspect of your business. Like, I talk about Instagram, like there are some people like, oh, I just can't be on. Like, I don't even see any of the negative stuff. Every day when I go on with a purpose. I work strategically. Instagram is part of my business. So it may look like I'm having fun, and I am, because I want the community to see I'm a regular person, whatever. But every day I'm scrolling through because I'm trying to find tidbits of what people are doing. Wow, they have packages. What are they doing? So if they're revealing that, I'm learning something every single day, whether it be the new person or the experienced person. So I tell people, if you take any situation and turn it into a learning situation, then you won't even see any negativity. That's the thing. Scroll past it. The problem is if you're sitting there looking at it, I could be on Instagram all day long, but it's purpose. It's a purpose to it. I'm having fun. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I love what you said, and that's why I like this community too, is you can go through, and not everybody's on Instagram, but there's people who I've learned so much from people who have like 100 followers, because it's not that they don't know what they're doing, they just aren't spending all the time on Instagram getting followers.
Exactly. Sure.
So I do the live on Mondays, and it's open to anybody who wants to come on. And I'm constantly like learning, taking notes from people, because they're like, oh, I've been selling for 12 years. I just don't want to put 20 hours a week into building a YouTube channel. And they have way more information than I do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, come on the channel and talk to me.
Yeah, because it's people who have been selling on eBay and Poshmark or whatever. And their numbers, when you see them, it may seem like, wow, but they just decided, let me walk into this Instagram platform and see what's
and
going on.
A lot of people don't. Like, my brother-in-law has been selling on eBay for like 15 years, and he's like, Sarah, why are you on that? Like, just sell.
Yeah.
But he
can sell more now. I mean, I think I just gotta at where we're talking, I just gotta sell on Etsy. So yeah, that's all.
Those are my favorite. Yeah, those are my favorite, when you get like a little notification as you're talking.
Hello.
Oh, well, now let me check.
So the tie-dye and stuff has been really, really doing really well.
Yeah, that's where it's at. I mean, everybody is on that tie-dye.
And that's like, what is old is new again. But it's just like, I had never tie-dyed before. And I kind of just look at something really quick and say, okay, you know what? I'm just going to put my rubber bands on here however I want. And that's how it turns out. And I've always been that way, whether it's baking or anything, because if you put your own signature, and that's why I try to also with the community, there's room for everyone. There's enough for everyone. You have your own. If you're making it, it's yours. You're making it. So I even said to people, if you're selling handmade on Poshmark, you need to make sure you're going to get that money. I like Etsy because I don't have to worry about the fees that are involved. I like Depop because I don't have to worry about the fees.
Well, and people go on Etsy looking for handmade items, and I feel like they value it more.
Exactly.
Like, they want to go support people.
Exactly. Yeah. Full price. Like, look, there's no haggling.
Yeah.
Nothing. So when I put it on same price, they're thinking, well, wow, that's $25. I still have to pay that $7 shipping, So it's just like that balance with it all. So Sarah, tell me about, like, what have you learned about yourself personally during this pandemic situation that we're living through?
Oh yeah, wow, good question. I've learned that I'm anxious. Like, I didn't realize, I think because I was always so busy and could do things, and there was so much fear in the world. And it just, like, I don't want to say bottled it up so much, but like we didn't have, but as it's rolled out, I've definitely had, I'm a numbers person, right? And there was like the first month, it was like just high anxiety, everyone staying home. And then I finally was like, get your life together, Sarah. Look at the data, look at the numbers. What is actually like, and it's bad. Like, I'm not saying that it's not bad, but like the media is just making it, they're not, I was talking to, I'm in physical therapy, and he was like, the media's not telling you the denominator, right? Like, they're telling you all of these cases, but like, out of how many? And not to dismiss, I don't want to diminish it, but it was like feeding this anxiety in me that like was not real, right? Like,
I'm doing just so I can put on my stories. That's all. I did a screenshot already, so I'm like.
Oh, well, hopefully it was a good one. The last someone did one yesterday, and I was like mid drinking, and
I know, I noticed that I did screenshot and a video, and I was looking all mean, and Coco had a nice, Chi-Chi had a nice smile on her face, but the one she sent me, I'm like, oh, we're both smiling. How nice. I had already shared by then. I'm like, I don't want to, bombard my feed with so many things. Does anybody have any last minute questions for Sarah? So everyone is here. Oh my gosh. Reseller Wendy. Hey, I didn't give a shout out to you. I really appreciate Restyle Secrets. Hello. I appreciate everybody who comes on. I'm sure Sarah does as well. Yes. It's been so much fun having so many friends come on. Do you have time to watch TV? Are you watching anything new?
Yes, that is so. working is like my outlet. Working out is also my outlet. I try and be active every day, and then binge watching TV. That is like my jam. So I'm watching Ozark right now.
Okay.
Have you watched it?
No. The reason why
I mean, I think everyone maybe hyped it up a little too much. I mean, it's okay, but I have to finish it, right? Because I got into it. But I mean, it's all right. It's good.
Okay. Anything else good?
Yeah, so I didn't sell you on that one. I'm trying to what I watched.
The reason why I don't is because I wait for a couple months, because like you said, everybody hyped it. So that was like Game of Thrones and anything big. I don't watch it right away. I let everything die down because I like to binge, but I don't want to get into an episode. Next thing you know, on Facebook, they're going, "Oh, that thing happened." So at least in 3 months, I'll forget that someone even mentioned that anything happened. So that's how I do it.
No, and that's how I usually am too. I wait until there's like multiple seasons of it. Me and my husband are watching Upload right now, and there's only one season.
Oh, is that on Prime? Is Upload on Prime?
Yeah, or Netflix. Maybe it's Prime. I don't remember which one. It's like futuristic, where like before you die, you get uploaded into data, and it keeps you in like a virtual world, which is very like my husband like. I'm not very like sci-fi kind, but it has like the real aspect, because then they're like having virtual relationships. So I mean, it's a good combo, but our kids don't let us watch TV really, so it's gonna take us. We're like on episode 2.5. We interrupted the last one. And it's been like a month. So we're going to move through that one very slowly.
What are the children watching? So do you have Disney Plus? Do you do that?
We have Disney Plus, but it's actually for my husband. I got it for him for Christmas. I mean,
Marvel, that's right. Yay!
And then they had an exclusive Star Wars series.
Yeah, Star Wars, yes. Hey, that's right. I tell him I see him. That's what
I don't really watch any of that stuff with him.
Gosh, that's not my husband. We all that stuff.
Oh yeah, see, I don't. So now
Spider-Man, Iron Man, Black Panther. I'm all those.
I watched it. No, there was one that I watched. Why can I not think? Ryan Reynolds has a couple, and I'll watch those.
Ryan Reynolds is
Deadpool.
Deadpool, yeah. Oh my gosh, he's too much.
No, it's not like your typical.
I was thinking of Green Lantern. That's a Ryan Reynolds too, a Green Lantern.
Oh yeah, I saw that one.
But that's how he met his wife too, Blake Lively. So yeah, I know all that stuff.
Oh yeah, there you go. See, you need to get on a call with my husband. I don't know if he's doing the kids right now. I don't know.
Tell him seriously. That's my jam right there.
Well, that's part of our problem too, because he's a gamer and he likes all the stuff like that. And so by the time the kids go to bed, half the time he'll like want a game, and I'm like, I'm not gonna game. So I watch my show, and maybe once a week we try. But then like the last time, I have a 3-year-old who he won't sit down and binge TV. Like my daughter would watch TV all day long if I let her, and he is too he has too much energy.
Yeah.
And so he went down. We tried to put on a show for them. We're like, they'll watch a show, we'll watch a show, and within 10 minutes he was up bothering them.
Wow.
So it's usually after they go to bed, and then by that time comes, we're usually like, okay, we don't want to.
So I don't know what Community is, but Sweet Magnolias was really good. I like that. That was on Netflix. Super sweet, clean family. Yeah.
I started it and got like half an episode in and was like,
yeah. I did the same thing. I watched just like you said, a half an episode, and I let it go for a week, and then I popped up somewhere else, or I think I heard someone talking about it, and I worked my way through it. It was sweet, but it is that sweet,
yeah. But I usually but you're like the third person this week that I've heard say it, so I'm gonna put it back on my
and this one is you really kind of, it's more for like your own space though. Like your husband's probably definitely he's like that kind of thing. So it's like you're in that kind of mood. You might have some wine or whatever, and you're just sitting back going, that's really sweet, because I like it, because growing up I didn't have a lot of friends, so it's like these girlfriends, and they grew up in the same town, and they have children, and real life challenges and stuff. So I think that's like cool, that kind of stuff really interests me. And I like that this family thing, because I kind of go back to stuff I used to watch, like One Tree Hill and 90210. That's nostalgic
Oh my
stuff
God,
for
One
me.
Tree Hill. Yeah, I recently just went. Did you watch Dawson's Creek? I just binged.
Dawson's Creek. Come on now, Joey and Pacey. Oh my gosh, you can't. I'm sorry, Dawson. I'm on Joey and Pacey.
Yeah, 100%.
So, yeah, so that's the kind of, I love that. It's nostalgia. So when I'm like in a bad mood or if I'm tired of what's on TV, because I'm doing One Tree Hill again. It's
okay. Wait. So is it? There's the full season.
It's on Hulu. Do you have Hulu? Yeah, it's on Hulu. The whole season on Hulu.
Yeah, I might have
everything from all the way up to what's it, season 9 seasons or something. Yeah, and Dawson's Creek is on Hulu as well. So all of Dawson's Creek is on Hulu as well too. So
well, Dawson's Creek was on something else because I binged it a couple months.
Is it on Netflix?
It's on Netflix or Prime because I don't have it.
Yeah, because a Prime and Hulu are related in some kind of way. So like when I go into Hulu, I go, wait a minute, I just saw this is the same stuff on Prime. So yeah, that's the kind of stuff I like. And it just because some of the things these days are really weird,
I'm gonna have to go back. What is the main guy? Not the brown hair, but the blonde. Oh my God, I used to think he was so cute. On One Tree Hill. The blonde.
Look, I'm watching it.
I don't remember his name because I haven't watched it since it came out.
Lucas. So Lucas. It's like, look, I'm watching it now. And I'm like, wait, how can I forget his name? I'm like on season 6. Yeah, so I just sat and kind of like watched it.
I've gone back and watched Gilmore Girls again.
Oh, don't even start me with that. Gilmore Girls, I love Gilmore Girls. Yes, see, that's the kind of stuff. I'll just have those days and I'll go, yes, let me go and watch and see what Lorelai and Rory are doing, and then like are you Logan? Are you Logan, Dean, or what's the other one who was?
I don't remember. Logan. I like.
What's his name? That's a shame. Who's now on This Is Us? He's the dad.
Yes. I actually. Yes. So I liked him the best as his character, but I think Logan is the cutest.
Yeah, Logan, because Logan, she changed Logan a lot. So so it's Dean, Jess, Logan. That's who
yes. And I think I liked Jess in the beginning, but then by the end, I was teen.
Yeah, well, that's because with any teen, they bring them in like this angry teen. It just needs love, and that's all he needs is someone to love them and discover and take time with them, and that's all how all these stories end. Did you see the watch the Gilmore Girls seasons 1 when they came back? Yes, that was so yeah, and I love Luke too, so he's one of my favorites.
Yes.
Yeah, Lorelai is questionable, but what
she's a hot mess.
I'm like seriously.
I have to write down One Tree Hill because I always am looking for. Let me grab a pen real quick. I don't want to forget. I'm always looking for new shows to watch. Yeah. Oh, I did. Have you done Schitt's Creek?
I've watched like a couple episodes, and so I have to get back into it because I think they're ending or something. But I love it. I love them anyway. So
yeah, it took me. I started it when it first came out, and I was like, "This is lame." But then I started it again, and after like the 3rd or 4th episode, you are addicted. And David is.
I'm gonna go back and then see, but that's why I asked it so that I can go back because I'm writing down too, and I'm like, what are other people saying here? Wendy, I did at Queen of South. I was looking at that, but she's like isn't she like a drug dealer or drug queen or something like that? So I probably have to check that out. I still have to get back to finish Outlander.
That one.
Outlander. Yeah, you gotta like not mind the nudity and things like that. Wendy says she loves Gilmore Girls. Yes, that's right. Love it all. Oh, this one right here is 13 Reasons Why.
Yes, that's intense. Have you watched that one?
I have not. There's some things that I kind of like, so
that one's intense. I watched it because I considered watching it with my 14-year-old and he's not ready for it. Because I could see it being good for kids who are that age and more mature, but it's talking about intense teenage issues. Very real. It's so different. Like I've watched my children transition, like the stuff that they used to watch, and I'm like, wow, like you go from Dora and then now you're watching these shows and you're going, wow, and it's making them, and I'll go, what is that you're watching? But it's like for them it's like nothing. Growing up, the things that are going on now, they don't even blink an eye at, which is how it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? So they don't. It's 2 guys on the screen kissing is not a big deal to them. So, and I'll go. Growing up,
it wasn't a big deal to me because all my mother's friends, her best friends were gay. But
yeah, but you didn't see it on TV,
right? But you didn't see.
I mean, Ellen came out and it was like this,
and they were like, "You're over with Ellen."
Yeah, they canceled her show.
Yeah. Because I've been watching Ellen from the beginning when she had the mullet. You know.
Oh yeah, her show was so funny too. I was so glad. I remember watching it.
And I remember when she came out to Lorna Dern and was like, "I'm gay," you know. So, but awesome. But like Sarah, I just want to say thank you for being on. I love your smile. I mean, we have to connect more. It's like, this is the thing that's like so incredible. I don't know how you feel about it, but it's like one day you don't know someone, right? One day I just happen to reach out to you. You're on my podcast. And now it's like, we're constant parts of the community. It's like, so when someone's live, it's the same people in the chat and you're like, wow. And even Thomas is like, how do you like know so many people or whatever? And I'm like, believe me, 6 months ago, I didn't know half the people I know. But it's such an awesome community. There's so many great people that it overwhelms me sometimes. But then also I feel the love. So I love the connections. I love getting to meet new people. And I have to get there. I was just telling Thomas, I was like, yeah, because I was supposed to be in Seattle and Colorado. And he's like, you know that many people? I'm like, yeah, I know a bunch of people in Seattle. I know a bunch of people in Colorado. I said, I'm hitting the spots where I know a group of people first. So we can all get together. You know, everybody's like, we're going to Source. And I'm not coming into Source. I'm going to break bread. I can source
don't go to Sourcing now. I went last weekend and it's not great because they can't put out as much. I was talking to the employees and they're getting as much inventory, but they can't have as many workers in the back because of the 6 feet distance.
Wow.
And so their inventory, like the racks looked bare. They had hardly anything because they just can't process it all. So don't come to have a barbecue. My husband would love to meet you, I'm sure. I told him I was on with Leslie and he's like, oh yeah, you guys are gonna
for real. You know, what's gonna be out? I just saw Black Panther 2. Who's gonna be? Oh, Beyonce's gonna be on there.
Oh yeah, you guys are gonna talk and I'm gonna be like over in the corner.
Thomas will be with me too, so that'll be like the whole guy. And he wants it doesn't even matter if they're like resellers, because he's like, so where are all the men resellers? You know, it's not like a big deal. Like Lizette, we did something with her husband Andrew, because I met Andrew and I was like, oh, he and Thomas are going to hit it off, and they were on, and they were just like, Andrew's like, when are we going to chat again? And Thomas is like, when are we going to chat again? And I was like, see, because Thomas is like, where are the men? They don't have to be resellers, but like, where are they? And I'm like, they're here, sweetie. You know, it's like some of them are going to talk that, but you don't have to talk reselling, because they come right in the door with, you know, Thomas is the star, the moon, you know, the galaxies. My husband is like, I'm like, serious? I'll come downstairs and he's watching Neil deGrasse Tyson. I'm like, yeah.
Okay, that's how I feel with the stuff that my husband watches, or all that. My daughter, actually, my 5-year-old, is, because he'll watch video games with the kids, and she will just go out. She tells me more things than I know. She was telling me all about like Minecraft, and Mom, did you watch Persona? And this is what's happening. And I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh! Well, didn't you tell me he wanted to start like a YouTube channel? He should be starting a YouTube channel or something.
Yeah, I mean, he would love to. He doesn't have time, or he doesn't. I don't like that saying. He's not making it a priority, because if he was starting a YouTube channel, it would be during family time, because he works full time.
Yeah, perfectly makes sense.
I could see it when the kids get a bit older, because he is a huge YouTube consumer for gaming. Like, he'll sit there and watch people game, which always like, just go game. But he'll like sit there and watch them. Yeah. It's so
but that's like my son. He's like in Korea and he's like doesn't even have a life. So that's why I know he's safe. Like, he goes to work and he comes to his little apartment. He's doing his games. Like, I contact he's games. He comes home. He's making sure he can play his games. He meets his friends. That's what they're doing. And I'm like, hey, it's nothing wrong with that. You're out of trouble. Yeah. That's all you want to do. Any girl, you need to like games. Because
or you don't, because somehow me and my husband are married, and I told him that's the one condition. He's like, you're gonna play with me, and I was like, I'm never gonna play with you. Like, I have no problem if you know, go play when the kids are in bed and like we don't spend time together. I'm like, I'm fine with that. I'm not playing with you.
But that's you're not going to always be glued together. You have things that bring you together. You're married, you know, so something attracted you to the other. So that's how I feel about Thomas, because like, people are like, they really can't understand that we're both resellers and we don't run our business together. And I'm like, well, he's doing something totally different. We would be like fussing at each other all day long. You know, I was just teaching him ThreadUp today. And once I teach him, he's like, okay, I got it. And I'm like, well, excuse me. Like he texts me like, I need help, please, in uppercase letters. I get down there and I try to show him a couple things, and he's like, okay, I got it. Bye. You know, like, dude. Okay, so we love each other, but there's only so much that we can do together because I have a whole system and he's got his thing, and we still are married. So.
Yeah, I mean, every marriage is different, and some people like to do everything together, but we both like our own space where I'm like, I'm fine. Like, I want to go watch my girly shows that, like, you're not going to sit down and binge watch Gilmore Girls, and I'm not going to force you to, but don't force me to play video games with you, right? Like,
okay. So all friends, I want to thank you for coming. Sarah, I appreciate you so much. Give our friends some last words.
Oh, be well,
what do you have coming up? Something on Monday? Come on, give yourself a plug. Give yourself a good plug.
I know. I'm used to being the host and like doing it for them. So yes, I have a YouTube channel. I do every single Monday is a weekly accountability. It's kind of like a staff meeting. It is open to anybody who wants to join either on the video or in the comments. It's every Monday, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard. So that's every Monday. Every Wednesday, I do Chris's chat at 6:30. So many things are being learned over there. It's all things that are helping it, but you can take it wherever you are in your reselling journey. And there's lots of things to learn on there as well. I did just start my affiliate program for the dashboard. So if you do have the dashboard or you're interested in it, on my website, it's www.sarahstylesllc.com. There's an affiliate link, and you just sign up and you get 8% to give the link out and a coupon code to give out as well. So that's my plug. And she's Sarah Styles LLC everywhere. Yes, everywhere. Yes. So you don't even have to ask the question. What you see there is what you get. Yes. And that is the reason that, like, I don't even really need to be an LLC, but I was for something else. But Sarah Styles is already taken. Yeah. So I'm like Sarah Styles LLC because then I can have it on all platforms. That's good stuff. That's why I like a reseller's passion. Don't touch it. Nobody. Yeah. No, Instagram isn't smart enough because now I like know you personally, right? And so I keep trying to type Leslie, and I'm like, why doesn't Instagram know who Leslie is? You're gonna get all these Leslies and coming up. Yeah, and I'm like scrolling. I'm like, oh wait, a reseller's passion. A reseller's passion, definitely. We were talking about branding. So when I think, well, you're easy because you're Sarah. Sarah is your name. Yeah, so right. You can get any easier than that, but that still is your branding, though, that people will identify Sarah Styles, and they identified me. I said, I want you to know Leslie. When you think of Leslie, then you think of a reseller's passion. You know, I am my brand. The name just helps you identify who I am. So people don't understand that. They think the branding is the name and all the pretty packaging, but I'm the one who's sending you the love, the peace, and all the blessings. And so that's what I send to you, Sarah, and your family. And I thank you and appreciate you for coming on. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was lots of fun. Thank you, friends, for joining us. Join me next week. Thomas and I will be on Tucker Talks next Wednesday. I will be actually on Denali's channel next Wednesday. Next Thursday is Spanish Girl Chat, and I have all kinds of stuff coming up. So take care. Thanks, Lizette, for moderating, keeping the crazies out.